Well, if you do not do anything now, there's very little hope for Gaza. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Cikgu Azmi Hamid, President of MAPIM. What a fitting way to start our speeches for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, following on from what Cikgu Azmi shared with us just now, history did not start on October 7th of 2023. Indeed, it started decades, or some would argue more than 100 years ago. That will be the focus of our next speech. But before that, please welcome to give us an interlude performance. Once again, performers from International Islamic University of Malaysia, or UIA. Round of applause, please, for Dewanga Sakti.
Test. Terima kasih. Thank you. The first song was from our own composition. It's called We Will Return. Untuk lagu kedua, satu lagu tradisional yang saya rasa ramai orang tahu, tapi kita buat twist sikit dalam liriknya. It's a very famous Malay traditional song, but with little improvisation on the lyrics, which is related to Gaza and Palestine. kasih. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dewanga Sakti. Round of applause once again for Dewanga Sakti. They will be back with a couple more songs after our next speech. Now, before we move on to our next speech, our second speech of the day, just a quick reminder that we have a gesture of solidarity act right outside this hall. Can I have a show of hands? Who has actually, siapa yang dah isi message untuk saudara-saudara kita di Palestin di luar sana sebelum masuk ke dalam dewan sebentar tadi? Who has done that? Makcik di depan? Abang di belakang? Anda masih lagi ada masa? You still have time untuk keluar selepas ini to actually write your messages and also send your well wishes for the people, our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Is everyone okay before we begin with the next speech? Is everyone okay? Once again, is everyone okay? Thank you. Now, please welcome Dr. Olsi Yazeji, Associate Professor of History of Palestine at UIA, to deliver his talk entitled 128 Years of War Against Palestine from 1897 to 2025. Professor.
Assalamu alaikum. Yang berhormat Jabatan Datuk Seri Mohammed bin Sabu, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security and President of Party Amana Negara, Your Excellency, Ambassador of the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela in Malaysia, Mr. Radames Gomez Azwaje, representatives of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Malaysia, Mr. Mohammed Reza Baksarey, Deputy Head, Mr. Ahmed Reza Daneshko, First Consular, representatives from the Embassy of the Russian Federation in Malaysia, Mr. Vladislav Chernov, Consular representative of the Ministry of Agriculture of the Russian Federation, young Berhormat members of the Parliament, senators, Senate Assembly members, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to present a historical summary about the war on Palestine. Now, the war and the genocide that we are witnessing nowadays on Palestine didn't start today. It started 128 years ago. It probably started with the Russo-Turkish War of 1877, when the Russians defeated the Ottomans, and in this time, in the European diplomacy, the so-called Eastern question emerged. The great powers of Europe, the British, the French, the Russians, the Austro-Hungarians, everyone was calculating about the future division of the Ottoman lands. In this situation, in 1897, we'll have the Zionists who will organize their first Zionist Congress in 1897 in Switzerland, and they will start to lobby among European chancelleries, asking the powers of Europe a piece of land from the Ottoman Empire, that land that we know as Palestine. And then we will have the start of World War I in 1914, when the Germans, the Ottomans, and the Austrians will build their own coalition, and they will fight against the British, the French, and the Russians. The war will end in 1918, and by the end of this war, the Russian Empire will no longer exist, the Austro-Hungarian Empire will no longer exist, and the Ottomans will no longer exist. The British will invade Palestine, Jerusalem, in 1917. In 1917, we will have even the infamous Balfour Declaration. The British, who could not win the war against the Germans and the Ottomans, they will make a deal with the Zionists. The Zionists will fund the British monarchy. They will bring the United States to join the war against Germany and the Ottomans. And in exchange, the British will promise the land of Palestine to the Jews. Then, after 1918, we will have the collapse of the Ottoman Caliphate. Istanbul will be invaded by the British, the French, the Italians, and the Greeks, and the glorious Ottoman Caliphate will come to an end. In 1924, Ataturk will abolish the Caliphate, the institution which governed the lives of the Muslims from the time of Abu Bakr. And what will happen is that after World War I, the British will colonize Palestine in what will be known as the Mandate of Palestine. During this time, they'll open the country to massive Jewish colonization, and the Zionists who are going to come in Palestine in this time, they will show their true intentions. The first major confrontation between the Arabs and the Zionists will start in 1929 during the Burak riots. The Zionist Jews who were being brought to Palestine by the British, apart from building their own settlements, they had as their ambition the takeover of Masjid al-Aqsa. The situation of the Palestinians will be very desperate until 1939, when World War II will start, when for a brief moment in time, the Arabs and the Palestinians were hoping that probably Germany and Italy could win the war and to liberate them from the British Zionist occupation. Unfortunately, this will not happen. With the end of World War II, in 1947, the United Nations, under American and Zionist pressure, will pass a resolution for the partition of Palestine, and in 1948, we will have Al-Nakba, the Jewish settlers who had built their settlements in Palestine under British protection will start their first massive genocide against the Palestinians. We will have more than 750,000 Palestinians who will be deported from Palestine, and in May 1948, the Zionists, they will declare the establishment of the State of Israel. After its creation, the State of Israel will become the enemy of all neighboring Arab countries and Soviet Union as well. We will have a number of Arab-Israeli wars. We'll have the first Arab-Israeli war of 1948, the second Arab-Israeli war of 1956, the third Arab-Israeli war of 1967. In this war, Israel will invade from Egypt the Gaza Strip, and from Jordan the West Bank and Masjid al-Aqsa, and from Syria will capture the Golan Heights. After this major defeat that Israel will achieve against the Arab nations, the Palestinian question will emerge. The Palestinians, who until now they were treated as being Jordanian or Egyptians or Syrians, they will decide to fight on their own. We will have a massive influx of Palestinians in Jordan, where from 1967 to 1970, we will have the Palestinian resistance, which is going to turn Jordan into its basis in fighting against Israel. But this will come to an end in 1970, during the so-called Black September, when Jordan will force the Palestinian resistance to leave Jordan. From 1970 to 71, the neighboring Arab countries that will openly support the Palestinians will be Lebanon and Syria. In Lebanon, Palestinians, they will build their resistance and they will continue their fight against Israel until 1982, when Israel under Ariel Sharon will invade Beirut. From this moment onwards, Israel will think that it had won the war. 3 years before this, in 1979, after the War of Yom Kippur of 1973, Israel will have a peace treaty with Egypt. The peace treaty of Egypt and Israel will be the first major abandonment of the Palestinian issue. But what is going to happen is that in 1979, when Israel will think that it had defeated the largest Arab power and had forced them into a peace agreement, Egypt, a miracle will happen in Tehran. We'll have Imam Khomeini, who will come, will topple the Shah, and we will have the establishment of the Islamic Republic. In 1982, Iran is going to come back to Lebanon, where Israelis, they had removed the Palestinian resistance of the PLO and Fatah, and Iran will establish the Hezbollah. Now, what will happen is that the Palestinians will feel desperate, and they will see the collapse of the Soviet Union. They will launch their intifadas, the first intifada and the second intifada. The collapse of the Soviet Union was a major achievement of Zionism. In 1991, when Soviet Union will collapse, Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been one of the major masterminds of revisionist Zionism and the Likudniks, he will celebrate the fall of the Soviet Union because Netanyahu will accuse Soviet Union of being a state sponsor of Palestinian terrorism, and the Zionists, they will start their New World Order. The New World Order that the Zionists will establish will come in the year 1991. We will have immediately, and at the moments when Soviet Union is collapsing, the Americans and the Zionists, they will start a number of wars in the Middle East. The first war will be the war against Iraq in 1991. On September 11, not 2001, but 1991, George Bush the Senior, he will address the US Congress and he will celebrate the victory over Saddam Hussein. He will say, now Soviet Union is no longer to block us at the United Nations. destroyed Iraq, and we have blackmailed Egypt, and we have a peace with Jordan, and only Syria is isolated. In 2006, Iran will jump in by using the chaos that the Americans will create in the Middle East. The Iranians will build the axis of resistance. The axis of resistance headed by Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis in Yemen, militias in Iraq and in Syria, will build a coalition of state and non-state actors to continue the resistance. The philosophy of the Zionists in their war against Palestine has been that we occupy Palestine, we kill the Palestinians, we have the Americans who support us, and then we go and defeat and destroy the Arab states one after another. But they made a mistake because Iran used non-state actors for the continuation of the resistance. And what happened is that on 7 October 2023, Hamas launched its operation Tufan al-Aqsa and gave to Israel the longest war in its history. The axis of resistance gave to Israel 15 months war. During these 15 months of war, almost 500,000 Jewish colonists were forced to leave Israel. Israel had its own victories, and the greatest victory for Israel will come on 7 of December 2024, when after the ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, in collaboration with Al-Qaeda, will topple the government of Bashar al-Assad, and Al-Qaeda will take over Syria and Damascus. And the new reality that we have now is that Syria is the last Arab state to ask for peace with Israel. I have to stop here. Thank you very much indeed. Salam alaikum.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause, please, for Dr. O.C. Yazeji, the Associate Professor of History of Palestine from UIA. And ladies and gentlemen, before we well-versed, and for international delegates who are here tonight with us, and that includes our culture, our heritage, inclusive of our music. And as locals may know, Dewanga Sakti, the music that they play represents the best of Malaysian traditional music, and this is the chance for us to showcase our mutual love for good music and good art. So without further ado, once again, for the last time tonight, please welcome, round of applause, Dewanga Sakti.
Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. pusaka menyembah bumi, rumah kecil hangus berkecai, sekeping tanah takkan berganti, air mata jatuh berderai. Yang pusaka menyembah bumi, rumah kecil hangus berkecai, sekeping tanah takkan berganti, air mata jatuh berderai. Kemana menghilang desa yang ku sayang? Apakah punah sudah ditelan masa? Pepohon menghijau, ladang yang terbentang, mengapa lenyap di kezaliman manusia? Tiada lagi seram di ibunda, tiada lagi tawa dan sukaria, akan ku simpan dalam kenangan, ku abadikan dalam dendangan. Tiada lagi geram di ibunda, tiada lagi tawa dan sukaria, akan ku simpan dalam kenangan, ku abadikan dalam dendangan. Kemana menghilang desa yang ku sayang? Apakah punah sudah ditelan masa? Pepohon menghijau, sawah yang terbentang, mengapa lenyap di kerakusan manusia? Dari sungai hingga ke segara, bumi ambiak pasti merdeka, sekeping tanah takkan berganti, keringat darah gugur berderai. Dari sungai hingga ke segara, bumi ambiak pasti merdeka, sekeping tanah takkan berganti, keringat darah gugur berderai. Kemana menghilang desa yang ku sayang? Apakah punah sudah ditelan masa? Pepohon menghijau, ladang yang terbentang, mengapa lenyap di kezaliman manusia? Syukran jazilan. Thank you very much.
Once
Selamat
again,
malam. Terima kasih.
Round of applause, Dewangga Sakti, bringing the best of Malaysian classical music, modified to actually tell the plight of the Palestinians, which is a beautiful symbol of our two countries and our shared bond together. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the next speech? The final speech before our keynote speech? Are you ready? Semua dah bersedia? Baru pukul 10, tak apa, besok cuti. Ada orang cakap besok kerja? Saya pun kerja sepanjang esok. Tak percaya boleh tengok TV. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the struggle for freedom and justice has been ongoing for close to 100 years. In fact, by what Professor Dr. Olsi shared just now, it has been going on for actually more than 100 years. We have traveled a long road behind us, but we will stay here for as long as it takes for Palestine. Do we agree? We have a long road ahead, but we will strive and we will keep our course for as long as it takes. And that ties nicely to our third and final speech for tonight. Please welcome Dina Zaman with her speech entitled The Long Road Ahead. Round of applause for Dina.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kepada YB, Datuk Haji Muhammad Zabu, or it's known as YB Mat Zabu, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so a very good evening. Happy belated New Year, Happy Chinese New Year, and Selamat Berpuasa in advance. You're probably wondering what I'm doing here. The only woman on stage, I'm also wondering what I'm doing here. So there's a little backstory as to how I'm here, yeah? I was giving a talk and there was a WhatsApp and it said Malay land. So I'll talk about that in a bit. So that's a book I wrote. So please buy it. It's only 49 ringgit 90 cents. YB Anfal Satri is featured in it. And I thought it was a reading of the book. I forgot about it 3 days later. Then, you know, the team said, okay, what's your speech about? I thought, mak, apa benda ni, you know? And I looked, I said, oh my God, I'm going to be speaking at an Amanah event. So I went, okay, I can't back out now. So here I am, and thank you very much for inviting me. I'm not very experienced. I don't like talking. I rather do research. But anyway, so I'm also one of the co-founders of Iman Research. We've been around for 10 years, and the work we do is on conflict, security, and peace building. So all these years, Alhamdulillah, we've been doing work on, you know, young Malay youths getting involved in extremism. We did work with Rohingya refugees. In the last few years, masa time COVID lah, right? There were 2 teams. One that was dealing with the work in peace brokering in the deep south of Thailand, Patani. So that's one team. Me, the last 2 years, my team, we work on Malay youth punya issues. So it's been very interesting the last few years. And, you know, as I said, I'm still very surprised to be here. That photo of me was very big. But anyway, so I'll just talk. I'll try to keep the speech to less than 10 minutes because I don't like to talk long. Plus, I'm usually in bed at 10, so never mind. So as we all know, the world is experiencing extreme changes politically, socially, and climate-wise. Personally, I have moments when I think that this is already zaman nak kiamat lah, though everyone tells me that I'm being absolutely paranoid. I know this is an awful joke, but really what we are seeing today, and will be seeing for the next few years, are geopolitical tensions that have implication on almost every country on this earth. Malaysia is also affected, despite our so-called political stability, simply because of our position right smack in a regional hotspot. Southeast Asia, China, and the United States of America will be observing us very, very closely. And now with a new president, I think we'll not escape his eye. So allow me to elaborate further. As you know, Iman Research, as I said earlier, we work on security, peace building, and we work with a lot of, networks. Dulu, before we worked together with ABIM, Ikram, but everyone got busy. And one of the networks we worked with was with Dr. Greg Barton's network, the Sean CSO network. And in recent webinar, he spoke about global trends, which I hope you all would be mindful, And even as we witness a ceasefire in Gaza, this doesn't mean that the genocide will end. It's not going to end, right? In his presentation, Dr. Barton remarked on how the murder of Yahya Sinwar will trigger more conflict, even as Palestinians make their way to home at this very moment. Now, there are some positives. Pro-Palestine protests over the genocide since October 7th have been largely peaceful, despite aggressive reactions from some governments. The global community and institutions, i.e. the ICJ, ICRC, Amnesty, have responded in favor of Palestine. The YouGov poll shows that 29% of voters who supported Biden in 2020 didn't continue their support for Kamala Harris due to the US's foreign policy over Gaza. Now, longer-term impact globally, definitely what we can see right now is a loss of trust in the US, international law, and the global Western world. But we also need to keep in mind, now according to the UN Office of Coordinating Humanitarian Affairs, over 2 million Gazans face severe humanitarian needs, with women and girls and youth disproportionately affected due to limited healthcare and protection services. The blockade and destruction of critical infrastructure have worsened living conditions, making women's and girls and youth access to basic needs a key priority for recovery efforts. Over 50% of the Gaza population is under 18, and they're facing disruptions to education, healthcare, and future opportunities. Despite this, young Palestinians continue to lead advocacy and grassroots peace-building efforts, as recorded by the UNICEF. Youth resilience and creativity are pivotal for sustaining hope and pushing for long-term solutions in the face of systemic barriers. Now, the destruction of over 80 schools highlights the urgent need for rebuilding efforts that prioritize empowering youth resilience and access to education. Rebuilding educational infrastructure must incorporate inclusive strategies to ensure access for all, including girls and youth. The conflict has led to a surge in gender-based violence, emphasizing the need for the women peace and security principles, as well as the youth peace and security principles in both immediate humanitarian responses and long-term recovery. Addressing gender-based violence must be a central part of any reconstruction or aid strategy, ensuring survivors receive adequate protection and support. And here, a lot of people think when you talk about gender-based violence, it's about the violence towards women. But we also know there's been a lot of sexual abuse towards men and young boys and children. So basically, we have a lot of work to do, and it's not going to be completed in 1 year. I think even in 10 years, this is not going to happen. You're talking about PTSD, you're going to talk about trauma, yeah? Now, one of the things, because I'm involved with the Women Peace and Security Agenda and the Youth Peace Security Agenda, that the recent Gaza ceasefire draft excluded women and youth. And perhaps, you know, I'm trying to be very fair here. It's probably because we are in a rush to rebuild. We want peace, yeah? So this underscores a critical gap in gender-inclusive, youth-inclusive peace-building processes. Advocating for the inclusion of women in peace and youth in peace processes is essential to ensure sustainable and representative solutions. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim called the ceasefire a stepping stone towards a sovereign Palestinian state and emphasized justice and accountability as central to sustainable peace, aligning with the WPS and YPS principles. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going towards the end of my speech. I don't want to bore all of you, right? While we are all very concerned with what's happening in Palestine, and not just in Palestine, in other Muslim countries, yeah? We also have to be mindful with what is happening in Malaysia. There are also aspects that we have to be aware, such as self-radicalization. Young Muslims, young people, and if you're very well versed with what's happening in Singapore, whether they're Muslims or Christians, many are self-radicalizing themselves. They read the papers, they go to the dark web and all that, you know, and they think, all right, to get the state to listen to me because I want to save my state, my faith, my people, maybe violence is the way. And we're seeing all this coming up. Young people are getting angry. And, you know, when Iman began 2015, 2016, we did this research on youth. Why are you so angry? And the main thing that came out, apart from, you know, parents not listening, we don't have job opportunities, they were frustrated with the state. So YB, minta tolong ya. Please listen to the young. I think that in the last 10 years, we've been around 10 years, yeah? The more youth we speak, the more we realize there's an underlying tension of how you're not listening to us. We have no work. We have no future. Nobody's listening to us, you know? Sorry, I didn't mean to speak Malay, sorry. I don't know, you know, where are we going to go? And allow me to just talk a little bit about the research we did. I personally feel that in Malaysia, when you talk about conflict or politics, it's always class-based, even more than between the Malays and the non-Malays, the Muslims versus non-Muslims. Because in these groups, the rich Chinese don't care about the poor Chinese. The rich Malays or the elite Malays don't really care about the poor Malays. So this goes for every ethnic community, and they're getting angrier because they're saying our leaders are actually failing us. And when they look at Palestine, you know, I think one thing, right? TikTok, 5 more minutes. 1 more minute? Okay, I'll make it quick. You just realize that they're so angry. And when they look at TikTok and they look at the internet, they feel that, you know what? There is a collective anger amongst the young. And we don't want this spilled into violence. We want peace. We have to find ways where all of us, young and old, actually move towards peace, right? So, why be that to three? Ladies and gentlemen, I know what I said, it's not very positive, you know. It's very, very depressing, kan? But, you know what? Malaysia is at a crossroads. What we need to do is this. We have to look towards the young, you know. With all due respect to the older politicians, right? I think like, wow, you guys have the energy, right? But we need to talk to the young because these are the people who are going to lead the country in the future. We have to give them skills because if there's conflict, you know, in this country, I mean, let's look at South China Sea, Sabah and all that. Who's going to help us? Malaysian youths play an important role in the governance of this country. And if we can kick off the WPS agenda, 30 seconds. WPS agenda, I think we can actually become a global power. It's just that maybe we should let our egos, put our egos agendas aside and start working together. Okay, I'm being told to leave. So thank you so much. I still don't know what I'm doing here, but Assalamualaikum. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you once again, Dina Zaman. Round of applause for Dina. The only female on stage here. Well, truly well deserved. Round of applause once again for Dina. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had speeches, we've had performances. Now to bring it full circle, to showcase the best of Malaysian heritage and history to our international audience tonight, we will cap it off with a declaration or actually a recital of a poem. Please welcome Faisal Tehrani with this poem entitled Kepala Yang Hilang di Gaza Berkata-kata kepada si penikam belakang, or translated, the lost heads of Gaza speak to the backstabber. Faisal Tehrani, everyone. Round of applause.
Kepala yang hilang di Gaza berkata-kata dengan si penikam belakang. Kisah dari displaced in Gaza, stories from the Gaza genocide. Tidak, Palestina tidak memerlukan kamu si penikam belakang. Palestina larat berdiri sendiri, kudrat seorang. Palestina bahkan tetap garang meski sendu dahsyat dalam malang tetap berang. Tertanggal kepala hilang, jasad terpanggang, diarak, ditawan telanjang, si penikam belakang. Palestina tidak memerlukan kamu, pergi jahanam sekarang. Ini kisah perempuan pilu Nasrim Naim Al-Hillu, asal selatan Gaza di Sabra. Nasrin kita tamsilkan sebiji habuk kerikil kecil dari seonggok bongkah riwayat Palestina, kisah cerita menyayat. Di dalam kemah sayu Nasrin tidak kebah, menung Nasrin panjang. Kita di Gaza lani melihat Nasrin mendadak tiap kali kucing liar melintas dia tersentak. Nasrin gelepar dihambat kebas. Dalam bisik kita antara dengar dan tidak, Nasrin berkata-kata resik. Takkan aku maafkan si penikam belakang. Ayuhai kucing Gaza yang pernah mengecap merasa daging manusia, aku tak memaafkan kalian. Kepada kucing Han Yunis yang mencuri makan meleser jalang di kaki Laskar Zionis, kami tidak lagi meratap tangis, kami tidak daya memahami. Kepada kucing Palestina yang tetap kenyang, pulangkan paru-paru hitam yang kalian mamah kunyah dalam perut kembung itu. Aku Nasrin Naim Al-Hilu akan berbabat perihal kepala hitam yang hilang. Kutemui berkata-kata dengan si penikam belakang. Usia 47, serupa 80. Suamiku hayat tamat cepat, dia letih lelah terlalu. Menjanda sekian lama aku, 2 orang putera, 2 menantu mati juga muda. Mereka penat, derita berat. Anak-anakku seorang, Muhammad tidak begitu cerdas namun baik budi. Hitam kebanggaan jiwa, Manikam Seri menduda sekian lama. Tatkala keparat musuh bermula bangsat, mereka datang mensasar Muhammad. Kata anak sulungku itu, Umi, mereka mencari rumah ini tidak selamat laun dan lambat. Mereka akan mengetuk pintu hadapan membawa aku pergi. Nasrin tidak naif. Dia kenal siapa mereka. Nasrin berasa debur dalam jantung, gempar bertabur, bergempur, sabung menyabung. Muhammad menyambung, beredar Umi, menebar ke selatan kerana bumi ini luas. Sepuas jarak Palestina terkurung, diserkap terperangkap pengap. Ada senyap dan ledak. Muhammad terbanting, cucuku terpelanting. Hitam sedang berbaring melaung. Ya Rabbi, ada darah mengucur di sana sini. Ya Rabbi, ada daging melekap hangus di 4 dinding. Di bawah reruntuhan batu rintih menderu. Saudara tetangga melemah dan mendiam kaku. Nasrin memanggil, duhai Nabi, bagaimana mereka membenam umatmu di mana Ali dan janji Khaybar dahulu. Wahai Nabi, siapakah datang memerdekakan kami? Rasa ini tidak lagi tertanggung. Aku seorang tak dapat menampung. Air mata tidak lagi lelah bertakung. Aku seorang tak mampu mengharum. Hitam intan payung, anak lelaki di kala kecil manja berdukung. Berkali di alam remaja Hitam disergap masuk penjara. 7 tahun tanpa musabab, tidak bersebab. Nasrin Naim Al-Hilu duduk bertimpuh merenung kita. Dia memanggil dengan gigil, suara seraknya, dengarkan umat. Hitam dalam tahanan dipalu, dicabut kuku, dipaku, tulang kaki diskru, dipijak, dihinjak di bawah sepatu, dijolok, dihantak, senak, rabak, bengkel, bengkak. Sehari-hari Hitam menjerit, tak apa, tak mengapa. Ambil saja nyawa, dunia ini percuma, di syurga ada harga. Dan dalam nestapa meminta, si penikam belakang bertandang, nilai beberapa dolar. Dia menawar. Hitam dicucuh, dibakar, cuba bersabar. Si penikam belakang mendayu, membujuk. Hidup nyaman di Jeddah, mungkil juga makbul di Istanbul, beroleh wang damai di Dubai, sebuah banglo di Jordan. Hitam mendengar waspada. Si penikam belakang berhasrat mengepit maruahnya. Ini tukaran sedap untukmu Hitam. Hanya membarut tali, kerja memata-matai, sehingga ada yang percaya engkau akan diterima di Damsyik. Tentu asyik. Engkau akan menyamar di Tehran, pasti lumayan. Setelah itu engkau akan bebas ke Nablus, piknik di Doha, disko di Beirut. Tak ada siapa tersangka menjerut. Hitam Al-Hilu masih ada kehormatan dan malu. Hitam Al-Hilu dalam keadaan tangan sakit diregang, dia mengatakan kepada si penikam belakang, meski dunia seisi di tangan kanan aku, seluruh punya Erdogan dan Muhammad Salman, Abdullah II, Aliyev, Muhammad Zayed, dan di tangan kiri dunia diberi Iskandariyah, Kahirah milik Al-Sisi. Demi pintu Rafah aku akan tetap meludah Netanyahu dan Al-Jolani. Lebih mahal menjadi nomad Badawi Al-Yamani, tetapi semangat 24 Rejab tertancap dalam jiwa menjadi kasat padat, mengalir bukat berkat biar sakarat, dan belum habis butir janji dikeji, Haitam di bibit Shinbet. Si penikam belakang dipanjat geram benci, amarah, dendam. Dia meludahi wajah Haitam. Makan bulan, musim dan tahun. Haitam dibabat, diberkas, dibebas berulang kali. Tetapi Haitam tidak sekali menyerah. Dan Nasrim Naim Al-Hilu sangat tahu, bukan Muhammad si sulung hendak dipuntung. Haitam yang bongsu penghias kurinda madah diintai untuk dikerkah. Didamping Nasrin cucunya Ziyad dan Sahir, 11 dan 10 tahun, comel mentah melarat lapar di Nusairat. Haitam mencari kurma sebutir 2. Kalau ada gandum tepung segenggam 2, andaikan beroleh roti sekeping 2, atau dedak kaldai dan kuda dikisar pun tak apa-apa. Buat berbuka, puasa Ramadan tidak tertadah doa dan segenap permintaan. Haitam keluar mencari makanan, dan dari kejauhan ada kedengaran kereta kebal ganas melindas. Manusia tanpa mengira muda tua tersisa lumat daging darah lemak otot bersepayan isi perut kornea mata isi otak dentam dentum tak dapat diagak bunyi sepi. Setelah senyap 3 hari, Nasrim Naim Al-Hilu bergegas keluar, meraba bucu dan penjuru dia dalam gelap malam melara. Bulan taram temaram warna oren jingga. Nasrin meraung, disuluh lampu di tangan. Syuh, syuh diusir kucing gila. Syuh, kucing hancing meratah dada anaknya. Dia mencampung kepala Haitam di tangan. Kepala itu tertanggal, sudah terpenggal. Separuh tubuh remuk luluh tidak berbentuk. Dan dalam sendu Nasrin menyanyi syahdu. Aduhai, ayuhai tangkai jantung. Kepada siapa mak nak minta tolong? Aduhai, ayuhai Haitam, kepala syahid. Mak nak dengar sebelum pulang. Jangan tinggalkan mak sayang. Sepanjang umur wanita ini dengan mata kepala bersaksi dia mendepani korban Ahmad Yasin Abdul Aziz Rantisi tanpa segan, tak mengeluh payah, tak ada gentar. Haniah dan Sinwar satu persatu. Dan di luar duga Nasrim Naim Al-Hilu, kepala yang hilang berkata-kata kepada si penikam belakang, aduhai ibu, awasi dalam kalangan kamu ada si penikam belakang. Dia bercakap-cakap fasih penuh sembang. Dia bergebang melempar dalil sebarang. Bukan sekali dalam sirah ada kepala berlumur darah tertanggal seperti Yahya, atau kudung diparang sebelah tangan seperti Zakaria, atau umpamakan cucu Nabi kepalanya dihunus ditancap di hujung lembing. Jadi ibu tak apa-apa di muncung senapang. Kepalaku ini berwasiat, ingat jangan kompromi munafik. Biar mereka perit bertempik, jangan kompromi. Kerana Gaza adalah pemisah benar dan batil. Dalam sembahyang ada syahadah, dalam syahadah ada selawat, dalam selawat ada Muhammad, dan dalam Rasul Muhammad ada seluruh dunia yang tiada harga dibanding akhirat. Berbesarlah hatimu ibu, bangkit dan berdiri, betulkan telekungmu dan pandang ke medan sana seibarat Zainab, bangga dan hebahkan. Tidak aku melihat ini semua malang, melainkan indah bukan kepalang. Nasrim Naim Al-Hilu duduk bersimpuh teguh merenung kita meremang rongga, dan dia berseru dengan gegar suara seraknya, ayo hai bebaskan Palestina, bebas Palestina, bebas Palestina. Dan sama-sama berpaling ludahi si penikam belakang. Kita ikrarkan di Gaza Palestina, semua temberang sekarang terdedah belang. Terima kasih.
Faisal Tehrani, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful recital. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to almost the end of our event tonight. As we gather here tonight in solidarity, we are reminded of the power of unity and hope in shaping a brighter future. Our presence here tonight is a testament to our shared belief in justice, dignity, and unyielding hope for a peaceful and rightful return of the Palestinian people. Together, we stand not only to remember their struggles, but also to celebrate their resilience, their beauty, and inshallah, their freedom and restoration and thriving in the future. We are almost at the end of our event, and we are coming to the last item of tonight. Please join me in welcoming or giving the best and biggest round of applause for our last speaker for tonight. Please welcome Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Muhammad Sabu, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, President of Parti Amanah Negara.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani. His Excellency Ambassador of Republic of Venezuela, representative of Islamic Republic of Iran, representative from the Embassy of the Russia, Yang Berhormat Member of Parliament dan Menteri kita Datuk Zulkifli, Senator, State Assemblyman, distinguished speakers, press, ladies and gentlemen. Saya sedia nota saya pada malam ini, tetapi nota itu telah disyarahkan oleh Profesor Olsi. Apa yang disampaikan tadi, itulah pandangan saya. Saya bukan profesor, saya membesar dalam jalanan. Tetapi melalui pengalaman, perjalanan, perbincangan, maka saya selalu memberi pandangan-pandangan terhadap geopolitik, khasnya perkembangan di Palestin ini. Kita lihat secara mudahnya, pemimpin-pemimpin khasnya di Timur Tengah yang anti-Israel, hampir semua telah dijatuhkan. Orang menyebut bahawa kerajaan-kerajaan yang dijatuhkan itu kerajaan diktator. Bagi Amerika, Eropah dan Zionis, bukan menjadi perhitungan mereka soal demokrasi, human right, hak asasi. Yang menjadi perhitungan mereka sama ada mereka menyokong Zionis Israel atau tidak, atau tunduk kepada Zionis Israel atau tidak. Tadi Cikgu Azmi kita yang banyak terlibat dalam hal-hal perjuangan kemanusiaan ini, penjelasannya cukup jelas tadi dalam bukunya. Sebab itulah mereka menjatuhkan Saddam Hussein. Bukan kerana kezalimannya mengebom rakyatnya sendiri di Halabja, tetapi kerana Saddam di antara negara Arab yang melepaskan peluru berpandu ke Israel. Dan beliau amat anti-Zionis. Dan beliau dijatuhkan. Gaddafi memang berangan-angan untuk menukar dolar kepada mata wang yang lain. Ia berbahaya kepada kuasa Amerika. Tapi sekarang banyak dah negara bercakap soal tak lama lagi mungkin dolar Amerika kurang digunakan. Gaddafi seorang yang lantang menentang ataupun tidak suka kepada Zionis Israel. Ia dijatuhkan dan dibunuh. Yang menang melalui pilihan raya demokrasi, Dr. Mursi menang melalui election, melalui demokrasi, melalui tunjuk-tunjuk perasaan tangan kosong. Tetapi Mursi dianggap berbahaya kepada Israel dan dia digulingkan dengan sokongan negara-negara Arab Teluk yang lain. Omar Bashir daripada Sudan, ya, soal human rights-nya begitu teruk di Sudan, tetapi sikap anti-Zionisnya itu jelas dan terang. Ia digulingkan. Kemudiannya naik jenderal tentera yang membuat normalisasi dengan Israel, mengharapkan mereka akan maju selepas itu. Apa yang berlaku sekarang ini, Sudan porak-poranda. Saya amat gembira pada malam ini bila Profesor Olsi dalam penerangannya mengatakan Syria dijatuhkan oleh Israel dan Amerika dan juga daripada NATO. Ramai orang keliru hal Syria ini. Soal human rights, mana ada negara Arab yang baik soal kemanusiaannya, hak asasinya. Tetapi Syria menjadi pusat resisten kepada Israel. Barangkali anak-anak muda tidak pernah kenal Laila Khalid. Laila Khalid seorang gadis yang berusaha merampas kapal terbang semasa Sukan Olimpik berlangsung di Munich. Tujuannya dalam rampasan itu, beliau menuntut supaya rakan-rakan pejuang yang lawan Israel dibebaskan daripada penjara Israel. Laila Khalid, beberapa kali saya bertemu dengan beliau dan sekarang dia sudah begitu lanjut umur. Mereka ini ya golongan kiri, Josh Habash dan juga Muhammad Jibril. Di mana mereka boleh membuka ofis mereka? Tidak lain melainkan di Syria. Begitulah juga kemudiannya bila muncul kebangkitan Islam, Hamas, Jihad dan Hizbullah. Di mana boleh buka ofis mereka? Di Syria. Saya melawat pejabat Hamas. Waktu itu Khalid Mash'al, saya bertemu di sana. Saya bertemu dengan pimpinan Jihad Islam di Damsyik, di khemah pelarian mereka. Saya bertemu dengan pimpinan Hizbullah juga di Syria. Di Syria juga adalah tempat resisten, yaitu kumpulan Polo yang berjuang untuk menuntut keadilan mereka di Patani. Syria adalah pusat resisten kepada negeri-negeri yang nak memperjuangkan keadilan. Oleh itu, bila berlaku Arab Spring itu satu benda yang baik. Rakyat bangun untuk menukar rejim, bagus. Tetapi kebangkitan itu di-hijack oleh ISIS, di-hijack oleh NATO. Bayangkan Syria yang di-sanction begitu lama. Bayangkan contohnya, gaji askar Syria lebih kurang $50. Gaji ISIS dan penentang kerajaan Syria ini $1,500. Askar Syria minum makan di warung, ISIS makan di restoran. Jangan lupa, bila Hillary Clinton di-interview di Amerika, beliau mengatakan ISIS ini, we funded them. Dan Donald Trump dalam hujahnya mengatakan ISIS dan POK ini menjadi kuat karena Obama dan Hillary Clinton. Dan kita lihat mereka sekarang ini seperti yang disebut oleh profesor tadi, menjatuhkan rejim Syria ini adalah kerja Israel dan NATO dan beberapa negara Arab yang menjadi alat kepada mereka. tak ada dah di keliling negara itu. Mesir sudah buat hubungan diplomatik. Jordan sudah buat hubungan diplomatik. Syria sudah pun jatuh rejim itu. Habislah perjuangan Palestin. Tidak sama sekali. Kenapa? Ingat, Imam Khomeini bila berjaya revolusinya Iran, di Iran dia mengatakan, revolusi ini tidak lengkap selagi Palestin tidak dibebaskan. Bila mereka melihat keadaan ini, sudah berlaku kebangkitan umat, bagaimana nak memperlahankan? Maka dimainlah isu mazhab. Ditiupkan pahaman mazhab ini. Tetapi munculnya puak-puak, sama ada RNTC, Syekh Ahmad Yasin, Ismail Haniyah. Mereka tahu ini perangkap yang dibuat oleh NATO, Eropah, dan mereka yang ingin mengekalkan kuasa di Timur Tengah. Maka mereka pulang alik dan berbincang. Akhirnya kita lihat berlaku persepahaman Hamas, Hizbullah, dan Jihad Islam. Percantuman ini amat bahaya kepada kuasa Amerika, kuasa Eropah, dan kuasa negara-negara Arab yang bersekongkol dengan Amerika dan Eropah. Dan percantuman inilah membuat satu perkara yang kita lihat kelainan kebangkitan sekarang ini. Sebab itulah Qasim Sulaimani di antara yang menyatukan ini bersama dengan Ismail Haniyah, yang sudah syahid beberapa bulan yang lalu, Yahya Sinwar yang memainkan peranan. Akhirnya kita lihat semua pimpinan ini telah dibunuh. Qasim Sulaimani, Yahya Sinwar, dan juga Ismail Haniyah. Apakah pembunuhan ini melenyapkan penyatuan sekarang ini? Adakah dia lenyap? Tidak, timbul lagi mimpin-mimpin yang lain. Saya nak sentuh lagi hal kebangkitan ini yang kita lihat mereka bertarung bukan dengan negara. Mesir, Syria, dan Jordan dipukul dalam masa 7 hari perang tahun 67. Perang tahun 73. Di peringkat awal tentera Mesir menang dan menyeberangi sampai ke Sinai. Tetapi Ariel Sharon dengan pasukan tenteranya dapat mengepung sehingga ke terusan Suez. Akhirnya Mesir mengaku kalah dan berakhir dengan perjanjian damai yang kita lihat, perjanjian yang disebut perjanjian Camp David. Kemudian perang tahun 73 berakhir dengan selepas itu pengiktirafan terhadap Israel oleh Mesir dan Jordan. Maka kita lihat tak ada lagi penentangan di situ. Tetapi apa yang berlaku kita lihat ialah kebangkitan rakyat tadi yang menyebabkan sekarang ini bukan negara. Hizbullah tak ada negara. Hamas tak ada negara. Jihad tak ada negara. Israel yang disokong oleh Amerika dan Eropah tak dapat menghapuskan Hamas dalam masa 15 bulan. Kita lihat sekarang beribu tentera Hamas keluar daripada terowong yang mereka bina begitu lama. Dan kita lihat yang kucak-kacir sekarang ialah pentadbiran Israel. Saya nak sentuh di sini. Dalam perjuangan kita kena yakin. Orang bukan Islam Vietnam yakin dengan perjuangan mereka. 2 kali mereka menewaskan kuasa besar. Yang pertama mereka mengalahkan Perancis di Bien Phu. Kali yang kedua, Vietnam bangun mengalahkan Amerika melalui gerila Vietcong mereka. Akhirnya Amerika cabut lari pada tahun 75. Sekarang keyakinan ini terbina melalui sajak yang dibaca tadi. Soal syahid, soal kemenangan, soal syurga dan sebagainya. Mereka boleh bertarung begitu lama. Yang paling penting, peranan yang dimainkan oleh orang seperti Dina zaman tadi. Yaitu perjuangan ini bukan hanya seperti kita bersyarah. Ya, jihad. Ya, pembebasan Al-Aqsa. Ya, itu semua. Tetapi yang paling penting ialah soal kemanusiaan. Orang seperti Dina zaman ini dan rakan-rakan yang sewaktu dengannya dapat memainkan peranan dan akhirnya bangkit rakyat Eropah membela perjuangan Palestin sekarang. Saya hari-hari berangan nak menyertai demonstrasi Palestin di negara Eropah. Bagaimana pemuda-pemuda mereka, wanita-wanita mereka, bahkan di Itali, mereka yang bukan Islam ini pergi ke tempat kilang senjata, hentikan ekspor senjata ke Israel. Siapa? Mereka ini orang bukan Islam, tapi jiwa mereka terpanggil karena mereka tak boleh lihat kanak-kanak dibunuh. Mereka tak boleh lihat wanita terkorban. Mereka tak boleh lihat hospital dibom. Mereka tak boleh lihat universiti dibom. Mereka tak boleh lihat tempat United Nations dibom. Tetapi beberapa negara Arab tak peduli apa yang berlaku di Palestin itu. Dalam perjuangan, jangan kita rasa bila kita berjuang tak ada orang nak sokong kita. Bila kita hadap tuju yang betul, kita tidak menyangka. Bila berlaku gencatan senjata, himpunan besar berlaku di London menyatakan sokongan kemenangan. Himpunan besar berlaku di Rom. Himpunan besar berlaku di Sydney. Himpunan besar juga berlaku di Tehran, di Pakistan, tapi tidak di Kuala Lumpur. Sebab di sini kita meletakkan perjuangan Palestin ini semata-mata dalam bentuk jihad. Ya, jihad, tapi hal kemanusiaan tidak dipedulikan. Malam ini barangkali Tenchua saja yang hadir. Himpunan kita di Kuala Lumpur Palestin, orang non-Muslim tidak bersama. Karena kita membawa isu yang bukan bentuk kemanusiaan. Tambahan pula, Timur Tren di Malaysia ini, orang kafir buat apapun kita tak boleh sokong, walaupun dia buat baik. Hina orang kafir ini boleh, walaupun kita fitnah, kena denda 850,000. Tak apa, itu jihad. Apa ini? Apakah ini ajaran Islam? Apakah ini soal kemanusiaan? Sebab itu kita lihat mereka bercakap soal human rights ini. Misalnya tadi, orang seperti Dina Zaman dan orang-orang seumpamanya. Di kalangan mereka ini memainkan peranan sangat terpanggil masyarakat Eropah untuk bersama membela perjuangan rakyat Palestin. Saya yakin seyakin-yakinnya, kalau umur kita sedikit lagi Allah Ta'ala beri panjangkan, insya-Allah rakyat Palestin akan kembali ke tanah air mereka. Geopolitik sedang berubah sekarang. Kita lihat negara Eropah sedang membuat shift mereka terhadap pertarungan antara blok timur dan blok barat, khasnya China, Rusia dan Iran yang kita lihat bergabung satu tenaga, dan BRICS akan muncul untuk menyeimbangi kuasa mustakbirin yang kontrol ekonomi dunia sekarang ini. Ini semua pola ini insya-Allah akan berlaku ke arah pembebasan Palestin. From river to the sea, Palestine must be free. Wabillahi taufiq, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Datuk Seri. Saya ingin minta Datuk Seri untuk kekal di atas pentas Datuk Seri. Sekali lagi Datuk Seri Muhammad bin Sabu, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security and President of Parti Amanah Negara. I'd like to ask YB Datuk Seri to remain on stage for Datuk Seri to actually present tokens of appreciations for our excellencies who are in attendance today. But for that, can I please invite the Secretary General of Parti Amanah Negara, Faiz Fazil, to join Datuk Seri, and also the Deputy Youth Leader of Parti Amanah Negara, Faris Harifin. Kedua-dua mereka ini adalah the main organisers for this event tonight. They are the unsung heroes. Round of applause for Faiz and also Faris, who has made tonight possible. Now once again, for the last time, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause first for His Excellency Radames Gomez Azuaje, Ambassador of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, for him to make his way on stage to receive our token of appreciation, which is batik, traditional Malaysian art, but woven in the colours of the Palestinian flag. I'd like to ask His Excellency to remain on stage for a big group photo as well at the end, as I welcome Mr. Muhammad Reza Baksarai, the Deputy Head Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And of course, last but not least, round of applause for Mr. Vladislav Chernov, representative of the Ministry of Agriculture of the Russian Federation. Thank you so much, Excellencies, for joining us here tonight. Lastly, for a big group photo, can I invite the Yang Berhormat Ministers and Deputy Ministers to join Datuk Seri and also our Excellencies. Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, Minister of Health. Yang Berhormat Adli Zahari, Deputy Minister of Defence. And Yang Berhormat Datuk Hajah Aiman Atirah binti Sabu, the Deputy Minister of Housing and Local Government. And last but not least, of course, our distinguished speakers for tonight, Dr. O.C. Yajezi, Associate Professor of History of Palestine for the International Islamic University of Malaysia, Tuan Muhammad Azmi Abdul Hamid, President of MAPIM, and Puan Dina Zaman, Co-founder and Managing Director of Iman Research.
Help us all move forward.
Dina Zaman, Co-founder and Managing Director of Iman Research. Dan kita jumpa lagi di hari kemudian.